Hey everyone, Aaron here with Elite Water Sports, and today's video is squashing all those myths about not being able to self-land a core kite. And I'm here to say that it's actually easier and safer. Stay tuned. Check it out. Hey everyone, Aaron here with Elite Water Sports, and today's video is all about self-landing that core kite. And I'm squashing those myths that you can't do it. The myths are out there that basically you can't self-land a core kite because of that high V. Well, I'm here to say that it's actually safer and easier, and for me, much more preferred to do a self-landing on a high V if I have to. And why I say if is that a lot of times I can just walk up to anybody on the beach and teach them how to land a kite. I just have to be confident with putting the kite on the side of the beach. So before we get too far along, I always advise having other people land your kite. Therefore, you don't need any repairs or hurt anybody on the beach. While we're talking about that, make sure that your open area is nice and clear of any obstructions or any pedestrians. We've already kind of walked around the beach, let everybody know we're doing a film today. And you know what? We're not gonna hurt them or get close to them. All right, going back to that high V. What is that high V? Well, that high V is about 15 feet away from us. And let's do a history lesson. A history lesson is, well, back in 2010 and prior and still to present day, there are kite companies with a high V safety system, right? High V safety systems back in the day, though, didn't flag out like the new systems we have today. Those high V systems, when you would eject, they would actually just pull on both front lines. And when they pull on those front lines, well, that's the only safety they had, all right? And it actually worked flawlessly. It worked fantastic. Kites completely flagged out. So in this case, what we're gonna display is why a core kite is actually a lot easier and safer than a low V. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down to the edge of the window, get away from some of the pedestrians. I'm gonna put that kite down on the edge, and then I'm gonna simply walk up those front lines. You can see that kite will stay primarily right there, and if the winds are shifting or lighter, which would be easier, the kite may actually flag itself out by itself without my input. After we get up to the high V, you'll notice those steering lines are completely slack. If I were to have any extra power, or maybe the wind grabs a hold of this wingtip and it wants to fly away, well, I have a really nice handle right here with these thicker lines coming together. And of course, I don't want to go above that to these thinner lines, but I can just hold right here. After I get right here, well, it's just going to be that standard self-landing, just like on a low V, where I grab those front lines. Now I'm in about 12 to 15 knots right now on a 13.5. You can see that was uneventful, and I didn't have to do any crazy techniques like a low V where you're grabbing that high, the top line, and you're really yanking it down to the ground. So stay tuned. What I'm going to show you is what could go wrong with the core kite with a high V, and I'll show you that, well, nothing really does go wrong. Every single time it flags itself out. All right, here we are. I'm actually going to try to make this kite not self-land, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be pretty tough, right? I'm going to do my standard self-landing, and I'm hoping that the wind takes it and doesn't make my job easy. Let's just see what happens if it does go wrong. And I want to build some confidence with you that by having control of those front lines at high V, the kite will actually just flag itself out, and no event will occur. So let's check it out. So I'm gonna walk my hands up. Now every scenario is a little different, but I'm just gonna go about it like a normal self-landing. And then maybe possibly the wind kind of got underneath it where it's, you know, gonna power up or whatnot. But if I just walk towards it, so say like if I wanna slacken the lines, I walk towards it, it might flop into a self-landing situation, right? So if I'm having issues with pulling that top line, if I just walk towards it and maintain tension on both front lines, the kite will actually flag itself out. Now what I'll do is I'll actually walk up both front lines again and make sure that the kite is secure, and then we won't have any issue at all. But you know, plenty of kites are gonna sit there on the beach like that and never move. All right, I'm gonna try it again, a little bit different for this self-landing and trying to make something go wrong with it. It's actually so hard with this high V. Here we go. I'm gonna walk up the lines. And remember, because those lines are so slack, my steering lines, that's why this makes this process so easy and a little bit more safe. As soon as those lines, the steering lines go tight, I could possibly have this kite power itself up and go left or right, whichever the case may be. So I'm gonna grab those front lines and I'm gonna do a normal self-landing, and say if I like maybe yanked it and got to fly in, see, I can't even get it to like fly away. And well, this is like our 5th take. I try to get it not to self-land. And what I'm trying to get it to do is get it to fly off or grab some air like a low V will do. And so stay tuned. Our next shots are gonna be actually a low V, and we'll definitely show you what could go wrong. Here we are with that low V, and I'm gonna show you what could go wrong with it. And you know, nothing against low Vs at all. It's pretty much the most popular configuration in our industry, but I'm going into it like a standard self-landing. And if you don't know how to do this, we have other videos on the internet right now, so check those out. But you know, standard self-landing, I'm gonna go up to this high V, but guess what? Those steering lines are still pretty taut, right? And that's what separates high V versus low V self-landings, is that with a low V, those steering lines, if they accidentally go tight and they start steering, well, that's when things go wrong typically, okay? And if they go wrong, it's gonna look similar to this. All right, so I pull on that top line, and then that leading edge doesn't flop back or flop down. And I fight it, right? And eventually, maybe, please go down, and it goes like this and powers up again. Okay, here we are with that low V, and I'm gonna try to get it to go wrong. And I've gotta tell you, if you're an experienced kiteboarder, you know what I'm talking about. That's where you do a standard self-landing where you walk up to those front lines, right? And you can't get that leading edge to actually roll down and fold itself over onto the ground, right? And you know what's really happening is that, well, it's a low V, I'm not really slackening my steering lines all too much, right? So that's what separates the high V from the low V. When you have that high V, those lines are pretty much non-existent. So therefore, the kite will never steer itself or power itself up. It'll only flag itself out, right? So doing a standard self-landing, and what things could go wrong is I'm trying to pull it down, and maybe that wind takes it away like this, and I gotta quickly decide which line to correct itself, or I'm gonna have to punch out right away. So I'm gonna actually do that one more time. Put it down on the edge of the window, walk myself up to the front lines. I'm trying to get it down, and then that wind takes it away. Here it goes. All right, well, man, I made it work that time, but man, it was super close, and I just don't like that feeling. I got that leading edge down, but you could see at any moment that wind's gonna actually flip it up, and it's gonna power itself up, much like a hot launch. I don't like that feeling at all. I'm gonna stick with that high V for any of my self-landing if I have that choice. Here at Elite Water Sports, the #1 repair we have is self-landings. We do not want to even promote self-landings at all, but if you're gonna have to do it, or if you have to do it, right? If you're forced to do it, at least you know the know-hows, right? If there's somebody outside on the beach, even if they don't know how to kiteboard, you can easily coach them into how to just hold that leading edge, right? And have them land it for you, right? So this is Aaron with Elite Water Sports, and well, this video is all about breaking that myth that you can't self-land a CORE Kite. And I hope you take it home to your beach and also teach everybody else in the community, right? Like and share, and it's gonna make everybody a lot happier on the beach. We'll catch you on the water.